Welcome to today's lecture on the Introduction to Manufacturing Basic Welding. I know the term basic welding. We're going to keep it very basic today. I just really want you to understand the concepts behind welding. There is a video attached showing some MIG welding that I've done, and a little example there. I think you'll find it very entertaining and as well as very informational. Basic terms in welding. Soldering and brazing are both fabrication processes similar to welding, and both of the two work pieces being joined are not melted. Only a filament material is melted, and then when it cools, it solidifies and forms a bond. These types are liquid or liquid/solid welding. Basic fusion welding must have sufficient heat for fusion generated by oxyacetylene gas flame, or an electrical arc, such as a shielded metal arc or a gas arc. You have a base metal that is actually melted and a filament material may be added. Then you have oxyacetylene gas welding. This fusion of metal is achieved by passing the inner cone of the flame over the metal. And then you have what we all kind of associate welding to is the electric arc welding. It requires power from a source. An electrical current flows through the electrodes and across an arc, through the base metal into the work lead, and then back to the power source. The current can be either direct current, which is DC, or alternating current, which is AC. The electrodes can be consumable or non-consumable. As you see in the video, we have electric arc welding. It is an AC, alternating current unit, and the electrodes are consumable. So as electrode burns, it is being consumed as it goes on. It's actually a filler material that is being added, and you can see the filler material going onto the strip of metal. The piece of the table actually that we're working on is ground back to the welder, so that creates a circuit, and that's kind of the concept of how it works. More terms when it comes to welding, things you want to be concerned with is voltage, which is measured in volts. It is the driving force or the pressure which is forcing the electrons from positive to negative, which is known as electromotive force, the EMS. The current, which is measured in amps, is the flow of electrons flowing through the wire and electrical components. The correct current and amperage setting depends mostly on the diameter and type of electrode being used. That is whether it's consumable or non-consumable. Thickness of the material, the welding position, and the quality of the finished weld. If I am concerned, or if I want to, such as welding overhead, I'm worried about gravity dripping it back down, so chances are I'm going to adjust my current down just a little bit so that I can try to help with that, and I'm going to slow down my type of welding that I'm doing to kind of make sure that I get a good quality finish weld. A sheeted metal arc, or SMAL as a lot of people call it, it's an electric arc that is created between a coated electrode and a base metal. That coated electrode, as it's burning, creates a little shield over it, so that as the shield is being emitted, it keeps the actual oxygen from getting down there and causing damage to the weld. Actually gives it a little better quality product when you start doing it, looking at it for quality. Or you can use a gas metal arc, or GMAL. It uses a filler wire made of base material called a consumable electrode. But what it does, it has a gas that's connected to it. So as you're welding, a gas is flowing down and it's encapsulating the area to protect it as well, using a gas metal arc. Then, as with anything, the American Welding Society, that is the organization that helps companies, students, and others involved in welding technologies. The primary purpose of AWS is to further development of the technologies, applications, and science of welding, which also includes joining, brazing, soldering, cutting, and even thermal spraying of different types of welding materials. Welding safety, workers must take the appropriate measures to protect themselves and coworkers from work hazards. It's very important that welders understand the concept of what they are doing. They need to know the materials, they need to know a little bit of electrical safety, they need to know about environmental safety, where they're working at, understand their PPEs, and a lot of times welders are very good at problem solving. They're the ones that have to make these two metals go together in the most applicable way, and sometimes they're even reading on a set of prints, so they have to understand how to read a set of prints. But as you know, the actual weld itself, while the welder is welding, creates this bright light, and this bright light can do damage to people's eyes, can give people sunburns if they're running it long enough. So the welder's responsible not only to take care of to protect themselves, but protect the co-workers around the area. Understand that, hey everybody, I'm about to start welding, make sure you take appropriate measures in doing that. Earlier in my career, I was actually around welding quite a bit, and I can remember going home early. I'd go home every night and wonder why my eyes felt like they were full of sand, and what they were is they were actually being burned a little bit from the welding that was going on, not here in front of me, but away from me. And the reflection through the area that I was at would end up, through the day, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there. So I realized I need to start wearing eye protection around that. And what we ended up doing is we ended up going to the welding location, because I wasn't the only one experiencing those issues. And what we do is we'd go to where the welding was at and try to protect it from getting out of there. It's kind of hard to make PPEs, allow everybody else to wear PPEs for one little work location. So we kind of did that. The welders must also understand and read safety data sheets. Very important to understand what they're working around, and then the product warning labels to make sure that they have any welds. So today's lecture is very cursory on the welding. There's a lot of information on welding. There's a lot of terms and technology, especially when it comes to manufacturing. We talked about welding and robotics a little bit. A lot of times in manufacturing, the actual welding is done by robots. That takes away the unsafe and the unpleasant working conditions that welding can present. Sometimes it puts it in the hands of a robot. So there's enough information here. You should do well on your quiz, and we'll see you in the next